What's going on out there, everyone? It's your boy Mike Ryder, Mr. Accountability, the man behind the microphone. You were tuned in to another edition of Mike Ryder Talks. Listen, I got a special show lined up for you guys. Got a special guest in the house with me tonight. But before I get into that, let me get into this. It's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are about to cover that tonight. As you know, Mike Ryder Talks is live every Tuesday on Facebook and on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Come through, show some love. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, man. Give me some likes. Comment, let me know that you're out there. If you're on Facebook, you see it on the Mike Ryder Talks page, like the page, like the video, love the video. Comment, let me know that you're out there. You know what, man? I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I ain't got no long intro. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, man. I got a special guest in here with me tonight. You see the picture, you may or may not know who she is. If you're in the Macon area, you might know who that is. This lady is an advocate for mental health. She's heavy out here in these streets of Macon, man. She is the face behind the mental health pop-up gym that happened this past Saturday that I went to. Y'all might have saw the pictures. Y'all might have saw the videos that I posted. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Nancy, reveal thyself. What is going on?
Hi, guys. I'm here chilling at the house and just excited, nervous, and happy to be here.
Listen, how you doing this evening?
I'm pretty good. It's been another busy day. I've been running around finalizing details with the Rosa Parks Square board and trying to close on a house that I just purchased and just keeping my day job.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Listen, for the people who may not know you, give a brief description of yourself.
Okay, well, I, as you may or may not know, am Nancy Jo Cleveland. I was born in Macon, but I grew up in the Bronx, thus the accent. I returned back to Macon about 6-7 years ago, and that was to help my birth mother, Brenda Gail Cleveland. In that time, I got adult legal guardianship of her. I was able to get her off the streets after 30 plus years of suffering with the drug and alcohol addiction. And doing that work led me to apply for an Emerging City Championship grant with 880 cities in Toronto, Canada, funded by the Knight Foundation. And I got that $5,000 grant to do one mental health pop-up gym in Macon. And then COVID hit. So I switched and did MaconHeadspace.com so that I could give these resources online. And through different partnerships and friendships, I was able to become a part of the Macon Mental Health Matters initiative, which is going to have us do 24 pop-ups, 2 a month for the rest of the year, powered by Macon-Bibb County and the Southern Center for Choice Theory. And those pop-ups are now geared towards leading people to the no-cost therapy sessions that are going to be at our local rec center. So that's
okay, so
where I'm at now.
I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Okay.
Let's go a little deeper into the mental health pop-up gyms. What really made you want to start something like that?
Okay, so as I kind of mentioned, and people may or may not be familiar with my story, my mother lived on the streets of Macon for over 30 years, and she was an outpatient with River Edge during that time. And I just wanted to help her. And so I came back, I got guardianship of her, but it was such an emotionally, spiritually, and mentally draining process that I, sought help myself. I sought therapy and other resources to help me with that journey. And it was really hard to find in Macon. It was extremely hard to find. And so after I was able to kind of get her off the streets, I said, I want to help more people, whether they be in a position like my mom or be in a position like me. There needs to be something that stands in the gap that helps people get to the resources. Because when you're depressed, when you're depleted, when you're sad, when you're lonely, when you're anxious, that is the worst time to have to look for help.
Yes.
and calling phone numbers and scheduling appointments. And I just wanted to make it easy for people to just kind of click and know what's out there, and also take it a step further and bring it to them so they wouldn't have to drive or take a bus somewhere. They just can walk to their local park.
Okay, so let's go a little deeper into that. I'm gonna put it on the screen. What is a mental health pop-up gym? Give me the definition of it.
Okay, so a mental health pop-up gym is basically a space where people can not only just relax and be in what I call like a Zen tea garden to unwind and collect their thoughts and drink unlimited amounts of tea. It's also a place where you can learn different mental wellness techniques, as I call them. So we have free guided yoga, meditation, fitness, art therapy, all led by local community members. So people can get exposure to what's out there. And then I think the cherry on top of the pop-up gyms are the free mini therapy sessions. So there you can actually meet therapists, work on what's going on with you in these one-on-one 15-minute sessions, and hopefully sign up to keep seeing one of the therapists at one of our 7 different Macon-Bibb County recreation centers where those no-cost services are going to come. So it's basically a pop-up shop for your mind where you can learn about new mental wellness techniques, learn about, mental wellness resources, products, and the people who are doing those services all throughout Macon, and then actually hopefully meet with a counselor and do ongoing therapy if you so choose. And it's just something that I thought would help people kind of, stop the stigma against mental health, and also just, introduce them to therapy without overwhelming them or making them lay on a couch somewhere or whatever they think might be happening. It's a fun way to treat our mind.
So we had this event this past Saturday. You know what? I'm gonna put the itinerary on there. This is what we went through with the event. If anyone can see that, matter of fact, let me make that a little bigger. 9 o'clock, you had this Zen tea garden. You had the drum circle with that. 10 o'clock, you had yoga. 11 o'clock, you had poetry. You had 12 o'clock, it was the therapist interviews. 1:30 was the Jane walk. 2:30 was supposed to be in the raffle, but I think it happened a little earlier, which I did win a prize. Shout out to you for that.
Hey, Muse.
And those things were amazing. So you have a full itinerary, a full list of things that the community can do when they come. So a person who never been to yoga, guess what? You get to experience it for free. A person who might have not ever had the hibiscus tea, shout out to the cook shop for that.
Right.
You can get that for free just for showing up. A person who needs to see a therapist or may be scared of speaking with a therapist, you got therapists on hand right there. You know what I'm saying? We had the group right there with it. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 therapists right there answering questions. This right here is great for the community. Moving forward, how often are you going to have these events?
Moving forward, we'll be having 2 mental health pop-up gyms a month. We have a tentative calendar on our Macon Headspace site, but we're finalizing all those details, and we will be putting them up on the Macon Mental Health Matters website as well. The next one is scheduled for May 29th at Maddie Hubbard Jones Park in Pleasant Hill. And all of these pop-up gyms are going to be in our 7 target locations. So you won't see these pop-ups at Tatnall or Rosa Park Square or places downtown. You'll see them in our target areas, and that's going to be, and just give me a second to pull that up so I can.
We're good. I got you.
The right details.
I got you right here. So if y'all can see this on the screen, I'm on the website. Matter of fact, I made that the full screen.
Okay.
I got her website right here. Nice layout on the website, by the way. And I need to go to Park RX.
Yes,
it's drop down tab will come up.
Yes, it's
mental health pop-up gym. And there we go.
Yes. And so all of these locations are in our 7 target areas. And that's Pleasant Hill, the Pianono area, Pendleton Homes, West Macon, East Macon, Bloomfield, and Payne City Brookdale Warming Center area.
Okay, so
And we're also going to go to Kings Park, actually.
Saturday, May the 29th, you'll be at Maddie Hubbard.
Yeah.
Sunday, June the 6th, you'll be at Bloomfield Park. Let me
Well,
ask you, why
actually,
are you target?
I'm actually going to make a change. I believe June 6th is going to turn to June 5th, and I'm going to be doing it at Booker T. Washington. So I will let people know of any changes, and every event will be individually publicized. So keep an eye on the list for now, but we'll always put out a great publicized event so you guys know when and where. But follow Southern Center for Choice Theory page, follow Macon Headspace page, and you'll always, or Macon Bibb County's page, and you'll always know when and where they're coming next.
Got you. The target centers, you said there are 7 target areas. Why did you choose those areas?
Those are where our highest crime areas are. Those are where our highest poverty numbers are. And if you look at this paper, it's sad. I've had it for so long, it looks worn down. But these are, this map represents where the lack of health insurance adults are, the adults that don't have health insurance, where they live. And so the blue shows you where most of the uninsured live. So that's another reason why we target those areas, because park prescriptions is a way to prescribe parks to people. You know, let nature be thy medicine. It treats depression, hypertension, obesity, and so many other things. And we want people who don't have insurance to still be healthy and to have access to our parks and to utilize our parks, not just for fun, but for healing. And so that's the reason why we targeted those areas. And with the Southern Center for Choice Theory, they're actually going to provide no-cost therapists at those centers. So you'll be able to go to parenting classes or speak with a therapist or have financial classes and like have ongoing, consistent, no-cost, no copay help. And that's really what the ultimate goal is, for people to get the services that they need. But there are going to be people that never go to therapy. And that's where the mental health pop-up gyms supplement, supplement the therapy. So you can help create your own formula to create your own headspace, because we need to start figuring out how to manage our minds so that we're decreasing youth violence, so that we're decreasing the recidivism rate. And the way we do that is by showing them how to heal themselves, how to use the parks to heal themselves. And it was what was most surprising to me from the first pop-up is that people came and stayed all day. They were there from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I didn't expect that. I kind of thought people would come and go, but it made me realize that this is people's self-care.
Yes. And see, the thing with myself, I had to leave only because of work. And I came as soon as I got done.
Multiple people that came back, like, I'm going to go to work, I'll be back. I was like, okay.
Nah, I'm not an outgoing person. I'm an introvert. I like to be at home. I told you I was going to come. I actually was supposed to go to your event and Drea Lee's yoga in the park. But I couldn't make both. So I was like, okay, yours was closer to my house. So I just came to yours.
No, but you just said a powerful thing right there. It was closer to your house. And that's what we want. We want to go to places that are closer to people's houses, that are in their neighborhoods. And don't worry, I plan to bring Drea and anybody, yoga instructors, meditation instructors, yoni steamers, everybody. I plan to bring all people who deal with mental health and wellness to these events, because I'm not going to teach you yoga. I'm not going to give you therapy, but I will introduce you to the people that will.
And see, I want to say this right quick for the audience, and we're going to get back into the conversation. If you saw a few minutes ago, shout out to my sister, I put her comment on the screen. If this is your first time watching this, if you have a question or a valid statement you want to add to the conversation, I will interact with you just like I just did with Davina. She said drum circle was amazing, as well as the questions we got to ask. I did like that drum circle.
And shout out to Davina. Another beautiful thing right there. Davina was my photographer for the event. As a Black woman, and after the COVID hit, and just in general, knowing the statistics about Black businesses, I did try to support and patron Black businesses and Black artists. So my photographer was a Black woman. The tea was provided by the Cook Shop and Country Kim, which are Black entrepreneurs. The gift boxes were provided by Muse Dixon, another Black entrepreneur. Barry, DJ Fi, set up the blow up inflatable couches. Another Black business. Worked with Parks and Recreation, ran by a Black director. Shout out to Robert Walker. So I'm trying to show that we can work together to heal ourselves, and that it's not a competition. It's all about collaboration. And what I was going to say about Davina is that not only was she there being a photographer, she actually got to sit down and participate in the event. So it's like, it's not just about you working, it's about you healing. And that's what I'm all about. That it was beautiful to see her participate and benefit.
I'm gonna get to these two comments real quick. Novella, she says, I remember reading your story about your mom. I actually used to transport her to the RE.
To River Edge, yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, it's so crazy to me how many people stop me in the street here in Macon and go, "Are you Gail's daughter?" I was actually just dropping off flyers for the Little Richard Festival, and I went to Felicia's Cake Factory, and the lady coming out the store was like, "Are you from here?" Like, and you know, next thing is like, I used to know your mom, and the thing is, my mom did live on the streets for 30 years in Macon. She had a drug and alcohol addiction, but before she, was kind of taken over by those circumstances, she graduated from Spelman. She, got her master's from Florida University. She was working at Warner Robins Air Force Base. And she was a beautiful woman. I've heard different rumors. Someone put something in her drink. She smoked something that was
that happens around here. Well, it happens everywhere, but it's so many people we see in the streets of Macon. Pee-wee walking up and down the street slinging his arms. It's a young dude. I don't know his name. He's a dark-skinned guy. He be walking with like an Elmo on his back. Right. He be dancing and stuff by the road. We hear so many stories about people putting stuff in people's, drugs or whatever, or their drinks, whatever they're using. And it's like, man, we got to stop that.
Honestly, I had to get to the point where I realized I'll probably never know the truth, but that didn't matter. My mother still deserved the help that she wasn't truly getting down here.
Right.
And I think that my point with the mental health pop-up gyms is to try to bring to people what I wish she would have had, or things that I think may have curbed her issues before they maybe got so far gone. My mother, again, was on the streets for 30 years. She ended up contracting HIV in that time. And it was just like, she used to go to the rec centers. It was crazy. I actually worked for Parks and Recreation, and so many people knew my mom from her handling and going to the centers, and they never expected to meet her daughter from New York. And so in that, I just was like, man, what if there was a therapist at the rec center? Like, she could have gotten, twice the amount of help and that she was getting as an outpatient. And maybe that standing in the gap would have curbed her from getting so far, especially because my family didn't really know what to do. They just, gave her money here and there, make sure she had groceries and stuff. They didn't really know how to handle it. And even I didn't when I first got down here. It was through a lot of research that I even found out about adult guardianship. And that was not an easy task at all. Nor was it
not easy at all.
Nor was it inexpensive. That was a couple.
It's like she's your mom. She's an adult. It's so much paperwork to go into it. Probably a lot of money had to be spent. Got to go to court because it's legal documents. It's a change of guardianship. So let me get to this real quick because my man CJC, he is the chat MVP. He on every show, unless he's busy, he can't make it. He's in the chat dropping all kind of questions. This is a great question. He says, does sleeping habits and what you eat play a part in mental health? Nancy,
definitely.
Would you want to do the honors?
Oh my God, definitely. And I think that's another reason why Andrea and I click so well, because she's actually a licensed mental health provider, and I've just been affected by the issues. And so, seeing how Macon has so many food deserts, and seeing how people live in, kind of not the best housing conditions, all of that is affecting their mental health, their diet, their ability to sleep, to rest, to actually deal with trauma and get a full night's sleep, that is all affecting their mental state. And that's just the beginning stages. That's just
That's
the
beginning,
basic
yeah.
levels, looking at Maslow hierarchy of needs, like that's the bottom of the pyramid: shelter, food,
Mhm.
safety, so those definitely affect your mental health. And I think it's crazy that people don't have access to grocery stores. People don't have access to like healthy food or gardens. And we want to bring food co-ops to Macon as well. And so my dream is that every zip code has a food co-op and a free mental health clinic. And with those two things, you would see a drastic change in our poverty rate and our crime rate and so much more.
I like that. I like your answer to that. CJC, I'm gonna add on to that. Lack of sleep really does affect your mental health. Lack of sleep causes so much brain fog. It also causes things to not fire how they're supposed to fire. So you're under stress. We're black men and women. We have so much trauma that we haven't dealt with. Lack of sleep just adds on to it. And then add a poor diet in with it. You eating all that pork, all that beef, all that sodium, frozen foods, processed food. Dude, oh my God.
But that's all. It's all
Um,
like it's a circle, because you're eating
mhm.
those things. You got heartburn. You're not sleeping well. You know what I'm saying? Or
I
you
caught
know,
that. I caught that.
no, no shade, no shade. But it's true. It's not just you. It happens to me. My mom used to say, it sits on his chest. If you eat
Mhm.
too late and things like that. So it's like we are killing ourselves, for lack of better words. Like Andrea just said, there is no health without mental health. So we're killing ourselves with our diet, with not exercising, with not sleeping well, with not fully resting and just disconnecting, and we are going to address those issues with the Make It Mental Health Matters initiative. And we are going to educate people so that you won't just have to ask those questions, you'll get the answers to those questions. And it won't just be thoughts and opinions. It's going to be from experts, from therapists, from nutritionists, from people who really understand and know how to help you and how to help you manage your mind so that we can
Fact.
be the best that we can. I'm from the Bronx, and a lot of people say, like, oh my God, how did you leave New York and come to Macon? And how does that work? Isn't it boring? And my thing is, like, Macon has everything that you need to be a thriving, healthy, productive city. But it just needs somebody to connect the dots a little bit more and to build that mighty Macon pride so that the people here realize it and take advantage of it. Because, I mean, if I'm here, something's right. That's how I feel. I don't
Hey,
live
something gotta be right.
right. So,
Hey.
that's what we're trying to do. And I think there's a doctor that I always reference, Dr. Caroline Leaf. I was exposed to her at a LeaderCast event that this community foundation put on a couple years ago. And she says that there's not a rise in mental issue, but a rise in the mismanagement of the mind. People don't know how to manage their mind, and that's the same thing that the Southern Center for Choice Theory teaches. Like, you are not it's not just about going through depression or having depression. You're in a depressed state, and there are ways that you can get out of that, and there are techniques that you can use. And when you use
Mhm.
those techniques, you can manage yourself a little bit better. You can teach it to your loved ones, to your children, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to just
There-
diagnose you and medicate you.
there's a very simple technique for anybody who has watched my show back at the beginning of the year. I had a licensed therapist on here, Chandra, and one thing she told my audience: get a notebook, keep a journal, write down your inner thoughts, get them out of your head, make goals inside that notebook, write down your feelings. Once you can get that stuff out of your head, start, like I said, you write down your goals in life, write down your short-term goals, your long-term goals. Boom, that's one thing. You got all this stuff jumbled up in your head, racing around, you can't control it. You write it down. This is how I feel. This is what I went through today. This way it becomes easier to manage. Um, Also write down your food that you're taking in. If you're eating something, shout out to the heartburn. If you're eating something and it gives you heartburn, you write it down. Okay, I know I need to stay away from that. That's going to help you on the dietary part of it. I want to get to this right quick too, though. My boy CJC, I tell you, he's the chat MVP boy. You need to drop your cash app. I will get you right. He says if we do open more mental health offices, uh, places, how do we convince people to not only go but to consistently seek the help?
Well, that is the point of the mental health pop-up gyms, and the reason why Making Headspace and Gale Consulting teamed up with the Making Mental Health Matters initiative. So Gale Consulting is the for-profit company, which is an advertising consultancy that is basically going to help promote the services coming, not just with the pop-up gyms with Making Headspace, but also with transit advertising. So keep an eye out. You're going to see bus stops that are going to show you where these initiatives are taking place and how to find them. You're going to see benches that say you matter, you're beautiful, with new advertising. We want to shake up the places and spaces around Macon and drive people to these resources. The pop-up gyms will give you a taste of what you can consistently go and treat yourself with at these rec centers through the Southern Center for Choice Theory. But the fact that there is no copay is going to help people too, because that's what a lot of people struggle with, paying that copay. So it being no cost is going to be one incentive. It being close, if not walking distance to your house, is going to be an incentive. And you already getting a taste of what it's like at a mental pop-up gym is going to be another incentive. So we're basically just dropping the breadcrumbs and just trying to reel the people in by bringing it to their community and making it accessible, shaking up their advertising, letting them know what's to come, and making sure we're providing high quality, no cost services. So that's really the answer to it. And the one thing that's very interesting is that people came, as you saw the itinerary, at 12, like, where the therapist at? Like, I came, what I heard, we interviewing therapists, like, people are seeking these services, okay? And so I dare say that what's been hard is finding them. So now that we're making it easier to find, you can go on to Make a Headspace right now and go to the local therapist map and click and see all the local therapists in the area. I'm constantly getting updates from people who want to get added to the map. And so I do the website and manage the website myself, so I'll be going in and doing that. But I think it's really about making it easy to find and accessible to people. And I think that's where you'll see that change, because I don't think that people don't want the help. I think that they've had, bad experiences with the help before. I think they've had issues covering the copay. People have weird hours. You can only call on certain days to get appointments. You can only come in on certain days. All that has to stop. You can't ask people who need the help the most to jump through the most hoops. They're already
got to be very accessible.
Right. And they're already not functioning like normal people. So how dare you then hold them accountable to function like normal people in the times where they need the most help? So we're making it as easy as possible.
You said some things that really caught my attention. Free. Who doesn't like free 99? I'm black. I love deals. I don't even care about being black no more. I could be white as the snow. I'm pretty sure people of any color, all colors, love free things. Okay. You also said you want to change the advertising. I grew up riding the public, transportation. I grew up riding the city bus. Those billboards that used to be at the bus stops and stuff, they didn't do much for me. And they didn't do much for some people. And I saw a picture of, I want to think it was New York Transit, and their billboard was very catchy. And I'm like, okay, we need stuff like that around here. So you're saying things and adding things to it that's going to make it very attractive for people. Like I said, the price, people love that deal, that good deal. So that's very attractive. People love good flyers and good pictures. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that is going to attract you if you can make the visuals good.
Right. And that's
so all that stuff draws you in.
That's what I want to bring. Like I said, like, I grew up in New York, and like, I think that New York had a better understanding of how to utilize everyday things to improve your mind. So for instance, like, we took the train all the time.
Hold on. Before you go into that, save that story.
Okay.
I want to say something. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
You are absolutely right about that, because New York is a high functioning city. So they got to know how to grab your attention and utilize that mind. But go ahead about being on the train.
I didn't even look at it that way. But like, being on a train, like I'm a real New Yorker. I did not have my license till I was 26. Yeah, I could all laugh. I don't care. I know y'all have been driving since I was 10. But I took the train everywhere. I took the train to high school. There was no school bus. Like, it was all train. And like 42nd Street, Times Square, which a lot of people are familiar with, the movies, King Kong, all that. So, and there's a east side, west side, and it's really far apart. But New Yorkers walk a lot. So if you get off like at the west side or east side at 42nd Street, you could walk through the tunnel to the other side. And it's a long walk, but it's cold in New York sometimes, so it's best to do it. And in that walk, they actually would have quotes like, keep going, keep walking. You could do it. Like, they would be talking
It's
to you.
building you up.
And the thing is, like, I never knew how impactful it was until I came here and didn't see it, because it's like they would even put it on the steps going up the stairs, or on the train. There would be poetry. They called it poetry in motion. Like, and you would sit there, zone out, reading the poems and stuff like, and I never understood that stuff was healing or taking my mind off of the craziness of New York going around me or whatever. Like, but then when I got here and I'm like, dang, like, why are people, okay, I feel better now. You didn't have a car. Okay, good. But no, like, I'm like, why do I just see put your ad here? Why don't I see something that says you're beautiful, you matter? And then, like, that's something that the youth you don't know how positive words will affect somebody. And if they can see that message, especially a permanent message, like, maybe they will put down the gun that day. Maybe they will, eat something better that day. Yeah. We got to try it because we haven't so far. And it's time for us to do something new. And then also, like, why do I have to get to the resources if I need help? The resources need to come to me. Then satellite offices in the rec centers and going to our 140 plus parks to like show people how to use them.
I'm glad you just said that. And I'm late with this comment, but it kind of ties into it. My sister said Macon could benefit from a mobile healthy food store. When I lived in Tennessee, we had a mobile fresh vegetable and fresh fruit truck that visited certain neighborhoods and gyms that were located in the city's food desert. You could use EBT to purchase from them. That's some things that we can benefit from in Macon.
Oh my God. I know Andre is listening. And so it's so.
Oh, she's here. She's here. She's in the comments and everything.
That's the wish. There's so many dreams that we have. And I think what the Making Mental Health Matters will show finally is, like, if you give people who are close to the issues, who are affected by the issues, access to resources to address those issues, you're going to see the impact. And so with the funding, we can do those things. We want to do those things. And like Andrea said, like Georgia is number 51 on the list out of all states, out of even DC, for access to mental health. How is that possible when Georgia used to have the largest mental health facility in the world right there in
Millersville? Even when I was a child, I knew about, you know what I'm saying?
The largest in the world. But you know what that place also has? 25,000 unmarked graves. Because that's how those people were treated there. And so there needs to be a reckoning in Georgia and in Macon so that we can bring these culturally competent services to our city, and we can do it in a humane way and in a way that's easy and accessible to people. And so, shout out to Aisha. She was one of our poets. She was amazing. And I hope to bring her back and others back. And, there's so many people doing this work and like they're doing this anyway. Aisha does poetry nights, like almost, I think it's every first Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aisha, put it in the chat, but like people are doing this work. Like Drea, she doing the yoga, Molly doing the yoga. Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. Southern Center for Choice Theory has been around over 10 years, if not longer. Like, they are doing this work. I'm just trying to tell people about it and let people know that there are people here to help you, and we're trying to get to you. We're going to make it easier to get to you, and we're going to address the trauma that this town has. And I want people to know that we're here and that we care, and that thanks to Macon-Bibb County, thanks to Mayor Lester Miller, we got the funding for this, and we hope to continue receiving funding so that we can continue doing this and work in an alliance with other providers to make sure everyone's getting benefited. Like, more mental health resources is not an issue in Macon. It should never be an issue in Macon. If my mother lived on the streets for 30 years, clearly they needed something more. My life is a living example of why they needed more in Macon. So nobody could ever come to me and tell me that, oh no, why, there's too many. There's not enough. So we need more people coming and bringing these resources. And, therapists need therapists too. So
Fact.
we need people who are going to help the people helping as well. So Macon needs to become a beacon of what is possible in this state and in this nation and in this world. And we can, by embracing Macon Mental Health Matters and the work that we're trying to do, in my opinion.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We're already taking those steps. Like you said, shout out to Mayor Miller. As soon as he hit office, he hit the ground running. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We out in there doing the cleanup for the streets. You see, I know this isn't
Like,
as it doesn't have a lot to do with him, but it does in some kind of way. You see more and more entrepreneurs than you've ever seen. The city is trying to come together and build, whereas we went through like 10 years of just straight trash. Not I'm not talking about the mayor. I'm talking about our city state. We went through like 10 years of just straight tearing each other down, tearing the city down, businesses leaving, entrepreneurs don't want to start up here. They don't see a future. I want to put this on the screen. CJC, chat MVP, he said, do you plan on spreading beyond Macon? Hold on before you answer. And Macon is Macon with country, CJC. It's not make in, it's Macon.
Macon like bacon.
Um, there you go, just like bacon, Macon. But do you plan on spreading further than Macon?
That is the ultimate dream. Perry actually already reached out, and I ultimately want to bring this to other cities in Georgia, other cities in the nation, and probably other cities in the world. Absolutely, that's exactly what we want to do. Everyone deserves to have access to no cost services, as Andrea was called it, and I think it's important that she says no cost, because it's not free. We are paying the therapists. We are paying to compensate people and compensate these instructors and make sure that there, things for people to eat and things. That it's not free, but we don't want there to be a cost on the people that need it the most. So yes, hopefully the world embraces what we're doing, and you'll see it a lot more. And I'm just happy that we got a shot to show what we're capable of here in Macon, and I think this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. I like it. I like it, man. I think I think y'all done asked almost every question that I had for her. Even if I didn't get it off, the people in the comments got it off, or the conversation just steered itself. So you know what? I don't know if you know this, but I like to play games with my guests.
Oh Lord, no, I didn't know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So guess what?
I guess you get me back from crazy questions I asked you last week.
Oh, I'm about to get you right back. So tonight, what I got for you is called Rapid Fire.
Oh,
And pretty much I'm going to put a clock on the screen. You see why I just enlarged that?
okay,
We're going to get this clock going. You got 60 seconds.
okay,
And pretty much, like I said, it's rapid fire is word association. So if I say a word or a phrase, the
oh
first
Lord,
thing that comes to your mind,
don't get me in
that's what
trouble,
you
Mike.
get. You said, so what now?
I said, don't get me in trouble out here.
It ain't going to be nothing too crazy.
Okay,
It could be, but this
okay,
is a family friendly show. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to add a little fun to it. The clock is going to start when you answer the first phrase. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers for the questions. There's no prize at the end of the game because you didn't get anything right.
okay,
There's no points deducted because you don't get anything wrong. You'll
okay.
just fall a victim to the games that I like to play. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
just throw a word or phrase out there.
Okay,
Macon,
bacon
New York,
matters
mental health,
is the only thing like that prevents you from being great.
Nancy Cleveland,
Is on the way to being a rising star.
the crime rate in Macon,
Is going to drastically decrease, hopefully, with better services offered.
Okay. The cook shop.
The cook shop got the best tea, y'all, and little hemp products. Shout out to Andreas and Andrea. Get them.
Life.
Is better if you make it.
Success.
Success is always striving towards your goals.
Failure.
Failure is no such thing. It's just a learning lesson.
God.
God is always there, even when you don't think he is.
Happiness.
Happiness is a choice, so you can choose it whenever you want.
Ding, ding, ding. Time's up. You did amazing. Shout out to you. You went through that thing like a pro. Let's get it, Nancy G.
I feel like I should have said something better for New York, but I love y'all.
It's all good. Let's see. I think that's gonna be it.
Okay, cool.
Nancy, you got anything else you want to bring to the table? People in the comments.
People to go to makingmentalhealthmatters.com. Shout out to Christelle with Hamtech Solutions for bringing the technology, the ability to register and sign up for these future services. Shout out to the Southern Center for Choice Theory for bringing these no-cost services to the center. And I just want to thank everybody who was involved on Saturday to make it happen. Chris Floor with Macon-Bibb County's Public Affairs team. Thank you, Olivia, for the awesome video that she just shared on their page. Thank you, Robert Walker, the director of the Recreation Department, and Key Drum, who helped set up the event. Thank you, Davina, for the photography. Thank you, Molly Wilkins, for the yoga. Thank you, Marshall Talley and his wife, Ken Talley, for the setup and the tea that they provided. Thank you, Barry, or DJ Fi, as he's called out in these streets, for giving me the setup for the Zen Garden and the inflatable couches. Thank you, Marcus Johnson and Aisha, for performing your poetry. Thank you, George Muhammad, for the drumming in the beginning. Thank you, Muse Dixon, for providing the self-love and care boxes. Thank you, Mayor Lester Miller, for making it possible, providing the funds to do this. And thank you, Miss Andrea Cook and Gloria Cisse, for being a therapist there, for asking questions that day. Thank you, Jason Wright, for helping me set up and being my super volunteer. And just thank you, everybody who supported along the way. If I've ever asked you to be on my podcast or to be at an event, trust me, I'm coming back around. Leave a comment, send me a message, go to the website. I'm going to get to you. And thank you, Mike Ryder, for the platform. Yes. And for giving me this chance to explain myself a little bit better.
Listen, I was just joking with the Mike Ryder thing on there, but CJC said salute. Thank you for the info. Novella, she said, this has been very informative. Davina, you're welcome, girl. Vina V, photography. Thank you for the shout out, Nancy, the cook shop. Rhonda said, this has been awesome.
Rhonda is amazing.
Go ahead. What you said, Rhonda, what now?
Rhonda is amazing. Rhonda is so positive. I once thought that she was a bot.
Listen, no, I told my friend that. I said, I feel like somebody's trolling on that account. Until she went live one day. She went live and she was behind the computer, and I seen her like on a podcast. I know I just got excited.
She was at
but it's just crazy.
Too, and she said that's how her grandmother raised her. She's just always remembered to be that kind. And I think everybody needs to take a lesson from Rhonda. Like, we go out our way to comment negatively on posts and stuff. Go out your way to leave something positive. Go out your way to share somebody's business. Like, hold yourself accountable. Be a Rhonda in this world full of naysayers.
Be a Rhonda. Shout out to Rhonda. Listen, every post that I make, every post that people that I know who know Rhonda makes, she's on there. She's probably the first person to comment with something positive. Like you said, she's like a bot. I thought someone was trolling. I told my friend this. I said, listen, that's not a real person.
That's not a real person. Exactly. She is
noticed.
Real. And we need to
very real. Very real. Look.
That's how the internet should be. The internet needs to do better.
Exactly. We need to do better as a whole. The internet needs to do better. The people on the internet, Black Twitter needs to do better. We all just need to do better, man. And just listen, we need to embrace each other, hold each other accountable, uplift each other, motivate, educate, pass on information. I almost got tongue tied. I almost lost my breath. But we just need to do better for one another, man. Tell
And
your people that you
everybody,
love
if you
them.
want to hear more into Mike's mind, please go check out my podcast from last week. Where I interviewed him, and he talks about how he journaled and his mental health journey as well. So I'm turning the camera back on YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat if y'all can find it.
You dirty. Also in the description on the YouTube and the Facebook page should be the links for Making Headspace.
Okay.
So anybody who needs to go to makingheadspace.com, you got the Instagram, the Facebook, and the website links inside the description. I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing right here. If you don't mind, hit your cam for me real quick.
Okay.
I want to thank her for coming through. Y'all know how I do it, like I do it each and every week on the platform. You see it at the bottom of the screen. We had an awesome show with Nancy. If y'all would give her a round of applause. She's doing something amazing for Macon, not just for Macon, just for people all over, because she has a platform that you can listen to nationally and get those gems that she's dropping. But like I do each and every week at the bottom of the screen, until we meet again, be blessed. I love y'all.